welcome to our very first Fantasy Waiver Wire podcast. This your co-host, Tubby. And Lee, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
You
I'm Lee.
You're Lee. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
we're formerly of the Where Eagles Dare podcast that we did for 2 years. And I think that being on that was we realized that while it was a great time doing the Eagles stuff, and I don't regret doing that at all. I think it was awesome. It's just that we talked a lot about fantasy on that show, and a lot of people were really interested in that. And I think that we decided, late last year that, hey, let's do the fantasy thing. So we're rebranded. We
Right.
still got our Eagles gear up. So, and in fact, I got the Kelly Green AJ Brown jersey going. So
Looks nice, man.
yeah, I'm happy. I just got that in the mail this week. So I'm still thinking about the Eagles, but now we're shifting gears and going to be talking about fantasy with the Fantasy Waiver Wire crew. I know that, like, when we proposed this, we're hoping to bring about maybe a crew of people that are in our fantasy league with us that would be interested in, you know, commentating from week to week and having different groups in here, because everybody thinks they're a fantasy waiver wire expert. Everybody thinks that they know fantasy, but not everybody finishes first in their league. And that's the thing. So
Right.
we prove real quick we may not know all that we think we know. But here, what we're going to try to do is let our viewers kind of discern from a multiple opinions where the best thing lies for them. So over the course of the season, what we want to do is kind of give you that feedback. We're not going to charge any money to join. We're not going
Right.
to sit there and say that there's some fees there. This is about a community of fantasy people who love fantasy, that are in fantasy leagues with each other, and what we experience. So coming into this just 3 or 4 weeks out, we're got preseason games starting tonight. What are your feelings on this fantasy season? Are you hyped up for it?
Man, I'm hyped up because I'm finally trying to get a win, man. I've been the commissioner of our league for, I think this is year 7 now.
Yeah.
And, I've been in the finals. I've been in the championship once, man. But I'm like, man, I'm just paying out you guys every year. And it's getting a little annoying, man. I'm like, man, the odds have to be in my favor at some point. I've been the number 1 seed twice, and it just hasn't worked out for me. And I am looking forward to this season, man. Looking forward to watching my birds too, but definitely looking forward to the into this whole season, man, as a whole. A lot of disgruntled running backs out there. I want to see how they play this year. One of them is in our division with Saquon Barkley. Um, you see, these guys had a Zoom meeting. That's how crazy
Yeah.
things are getting in football. And one of the irony behind it is that you look at a lot of drafts, and we're going to do some drafts tonight. We're going to do some mock drafts tonight. A lot of drafts you looked at, people are getting their running backs early.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
getting their running backs early because people know that's one of the hardest positions to fill. I don't care who you are, man. You lose your RB1, you're scrambling.
Right.
So to say that running back is just a plug and play, I beg to differ, man. Because when you have a workhorse like your Christian McCaffrey's, Derrick Henry when he's healthy, um, who else is out there? What other running backs you like?
Well, go start with the Eagles. You got DeAndre Swift, and then Swift's old team, Jahmyr Gibbs. A lot of people are really high on him coming in as a rookie. Bijan Robinson in Atlanta, people are really high on him. So, but here's the key: is for running backs. It's so crazy. Is that, remember, like 5 years ago, when everybody took, like, the first round was nothing but running backs, and
Right.
maybe most of the second. But there is a lack of respect, like you said, for running backs all over the league. I think part of that is because there's so many teams that don't have that primary back that is the workhorse, like your Derrick Henrys, where they're gonna guarantee see 20 plus carries a game. And that's a problem, because if you're getting a guy, if you can't get Eckler, you can't get somebody that is going to be the
Right.
guy. Let's take Swift, for instance. You've got Kenneth Gainwell in there. You got Boston Scott and maybe Sermon. And then they went out and got Rashad Penny. That's a lot of running backs that the Eagles
Right.
have right now. So if you draft Swift, yeah, he could be fantastic out of the backfield. PPR leagues could be really good.
Hmm.
But you're gonna have to contend with him sharing carries, and I think that's the real danger with drafting a running back. You gotta get him first because you gotta get those primary carry guys,
Right.
and then everybody else is all other. So you're right. I've seen a lot of these shows saying that wide receiver is the way to go in the first 2 rounds because that's where the money is at. And it's true, especially in PPR leagues where you've got your wide receivers is your cash money player these days because PPR gets you points. That there so many offenses are pass heavy right now. An
Right.
RPO where again going back to the Eagles, you got Hurts who's getting the rushing yards and the receivers getting the points, and the running back is kind of an afterthought in RPO. They sometimes get the ball, but not nearly as much and as a dedicated run offense.
Right.
So
Right.
it,
Right.
it, it is a gamble, but because if you don't take wide receiver and you go running back, then those best guys that you're really going to want are going to be gone too. So like last year, where you're looking at the first round and you had McCaffrey up there and Jonathan Taylor in that was really highly ranked.
Mhm.
Um, that ended up hurting everybody because both those guys got hurt. And so if you didn't get Jefferson or if you didn't get one of those guys like that or Metcalf or somebody that was going to carry your team on a wide receiver standpoint, then you were really screwed. So I think it's going to be interesting to break down where the depth is. But I think you make an excellent point that the depth is very thin at running back. So it's a value position to start with. And then you can probably get those really good receivers. You may not get the Jeffersons, but you can get, you know, pretty good one.
Right. And that to me, that's really what it's all about, man. Is the draft can make or break. Excuse me. The draft, sometimes it can make or break, depending on where you're drafting at. Like for me, for instance, I don't like drafting first. No matter what, like, unless Christian McCaffrey is there, and I'd had him one year, drafting him first, you just if you feel like you just put so much eggs in one basket, because our league, we do a snake.
Right.
So you have the first pick, and I think like the 21st pick or the 20th pick or something like that. That's a lot of talent gone in between those, especially for the first 2 rounds. So to me, I like to, personally, I like to stay a little later in the draft and probably, 6 or 7, so I can get, two of like the top 12 players versus, two of the top 20 players. It's all math at that point. Last year I had 10, so I had 10 and 11. So I get the top 11 players in the draft. Man, it's a lot of catch up there. So yeah, man, I definitely um I definitely like to get my dogs early, man. I'm one of those guys that draft Patrick Mahomes super early and people clown me every year. But it's just something that, Patrick Mahomes is a plug and play guy. I feel like you never want to be the guy that sat Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
So he kind of makes it foolproof
Mhm.
where you can put him in, and no matter what he does, you kind of just have to be happy with it because, any given day, any given Sunday, he can have a lot of magic. Well, I'm gonna share now. I'm gonna bring up, since we're talking about
Sure.
some of these quarterbacks, and I have the
Go for it.
screen down there.
Discuss.
Go ahead and bring up. Yeah, man. Just what's going on in the Yahoo Fantasy League right now. These are the Yahoo stats, man. These are, like I was telling you earlier. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, we have our ticker there with the top 10 quarterbacks that you should draft this year. Mind you, this is not about winning games. This is about fantasy football. There's a very difference. There's a very big difference in that. And as you
Yep.
can see, there's 5 quarterbacks that are all 100% rostered. These guys. So no matter who you are, no matter who you listen to, what pundit you listen to, these are the real numbers. These are the people speaking when it's on the line. When they put their money up in their league, this is what they're doing.
Yep.
This is what they're doing. So, and then you look at the percentage of starts. You look at got Mahomes with 98%. And that's where I did this. That's why I had Jalen number 2, because you got 97% of the people are willing to start Jalen Hurts. 98% are willing to start Mahomes. I know people love Burrow, but only 87% of the people are really looking to start Burrow. And I don't know if that's because of the calf strain. I really think that's in part of it, because they don't know how he's going to be able to start the season. So that's probably what that start means. That's probably for like the first, few weeks if he is out.
Right.
But looking at this list, man, who you like here? Who do you like here? I like Tua, man. That's my sleeper of the year. I
Oh,
know it's not really that big of a sleeper. Sorry to cut you off, but I
oh
like
yeah.
Tua, man.
Here's the thing. What scares me about Tua is that offensive line in Miami. It just terrifies me watching the stuff out of practice just today. In practice, just guys getting run over, and he's got the red jersey on. That's the only thing that saved him from getting murdered. And I love Tua. I think that if he had a decent line, but they are really going the way of when the Texans had David Carr and just abused him, or Andrew Luck in Indianapolis, where you got this valuable commodity that could help you win games, and you refuse to build an offensive line around him. So I think that if it comes down and a lot of these top guys aren't there, yeah, Tua's a great start, but man, I just hope he finishes the season and he doesn't get murdered like last year, because he got hit so bad. So that would be a scary one for me. For me, of course, Mahomes is the gold standard. If you get him, you can get him. Uh, I love Jalen Hurts for what he did last year, and I think that there's more to come. The only thing that hurts me with no pun intended with any Eagles this year, the only thing, and that includes running back, wide receiver, and quarterback, defense, special teams, is the Eagles have the number one toughest schedule in the league. So you
Facts.
have to realize that Jalen is not he's gonna see prime opponents. Just look at that schedule. Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas twice, Giants twice, Minnesota again. It is brutal. So all those people that said the Eagles didn't play anybody last year, they're playing a lot of people. So that's gonna be really tough um if you take Jalen Hurts. I like a team like New Orleans, where they play nobody. Their schedule is like one of the weakest in the league. They've got a halfway decent defense.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of intrigued to see the players on that side, how they do.
Right, man. And just speaking to that strength of schedule, when we start out at New England,
Right. Yeah,
so
it's
you're already in a hostile environment. I'm just starting off the season, but that's nothing. When it comes to the team that the Eagles have, we can go anywhere at this point. I mean, it's a Super Bowl roster.
I agree. This
They
is
aren't scared of anyone. If anything, Eagles have become that team that everybody wants to knock off now. Jalen Hurts went 15-1 in the regular season last year. People want to knock him off. He's only lost one game, and you could argue that
right.
he's a Jalen Watkins fumble away from having a perfect season. But I'm not gonna dwell on the past. But you could argue, you could argue
Or,
that he's
or,
a Jalen Watkins fumble away
yeah,
from having a perfect regular season and subsequently only losing to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what a year! If you're a Watkins fumble away plus a Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl performance second half. Mahomes went off in the second half. You still have to make the plays. They just put together a perfect second half. Um, but yeah, man. So you know, Jalen's gonna come out strong this year. Then we go to Minnesota.
yeah.
This is prime time. It's the only thing that I like about this is because it's prime time. And for whatever reason, Kirk Cousins just doesn't do well prime time, man. But the law of averages has to catch up at some point as well, too. That's the only thing I'm scared of. But as you can
Yeah.
see, that's another tough matchup.
It,
Tampa, I don't even know who's going to be the quarterback down there,
yeah,
Flask or
like
Baker.
Baker. Yeah, it looks like Baker, but who knows?
I mean,
Uh,
Washington, who's had more media than Washington so
yeah,
far? It's a
that's
bunch of
just about
Bush League.
their damn name and their ownership
Right,
more than
right,
anything. Crying
right.
out
Do
loud.
do have new owners. Yeah, then we go play them Rams, man. They should be back
At
fully
LA,
healthy
at
at
LA.
LA. What you think about that matchup? When we get
Well,
into our mock draft
it
and stuff.
depends. See, the Rams to me that they struggled last year because of the injuries. You can't help Stafford goes out and he's done. But also a lot of their players are older. They let Ramsey go. They're trying to shop Donald. So I think the Rams are kind of in that middle. They're not as going to be as dominant as they were when they won their Super Bowl and went, and beat New Orleans in that infamous pass interference game,
Yeah.
but
They're
they're still
shopping Donald.
well,
Donald,
there's
they're
a lot of
shopping
rumors that
Donald?
they're shopping Donald to the Eagles for all places, but the problem is Eagles ain't gonna pay his salary. So,
Right,
yeah, I
right.
just you know how you see these stupid rumors.
You know
They
what's weird?
mean nothing to them, but
You know what's weird, right? As you say that, look at this. Look at
oh,
these 2
yeah,
guys
we don't
that the Rams would gladly
yeah.
take. These are man, we still don't know. I mean, this could be
Well, Jalen Carter, they're talking about he's a nightmare in camp right now. They're trying the friggin' in practice, they're trying to figure out how to stop this guy on the offensive line.
yes, sir.
Meanwhile, Derek Barnett is starting fights because Landon Dickerson hits him from the blind side,
Is that
because
what happened with that?
yeah, just
Yeah.
Landon Dickerson hit him when he wasn't looking, so then
Mhm.
he hits Landon Dickerson from behind.
Mm,
I mean, come on, Derek Barnett, dude. You need to make a spot. You're on your friggin' last leg. We got some guys ready to take your spot.
right.
Granted, we got one's a tackle, but it still doesn't matter. Barnett's got to do better. But anyway,
Right.
I don't want to get off topic.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
you look at the Jets. Rodgers leaves Green Bay, and we still got to play Rodgers every freaking
Still
year.
have to, man. What you think about Rodgers? What you think about Rodgers' season? As you notice, we don't have him in our
I
top 10 this year, and it's not because of the rumors of frustration at camp. We're not worried about that.
right.
Rodgers is a veteran. These guys have only been together like what, like 15 days or something like that. So
Yeah,
can't put too much stock in that.
I'll be honest with you. There are two quarterbacks that aren't on this list that I would probably take after the sixth spot with Herbert. Because I don't mind Trevor Lawrence, but I would probably shove Rodgers in there because I think that he's got weapons and
Hmm.
he's got an opportunity. And I would also, I just brought it up, but I didn't really go into detail on it. A Derek Carr in New Orleans. He's got a brand new a weak schedule. Just their schedule is just not
Hmm.
that great.
Right.
And he's got a good offensive line. He's got weapons in
Yeah.
Olave, and they've got Thomas's back.
That's
So
true. That's
he
true.
Derek Carr is in an amazing situation, and I don't wanna give too much away, but to me, like, say, if you draft Mahomes like you normally do early, I might sit back and wait for Carr just because of those 2 things, the schedule, which just let me read the schedule real quick,
I can bring
and
it up. I
I'm
can
read it.
bring it up.
Yeah, you can
You
bring
want
it
me to
up.
say it? I can bring it up right
Yeah,
here.
that's
No
fine.
worries.
So while you're saying what you're talking about, we're talking about that the schedule of that, and then the fact that their defense is much improved. So I really like Carr, and then and Rodgers there over probably maybe not Tua, but I would like those 2 guys over Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, and Goff. I think Watson could have a great year, but my problem, it's always Cleveland, and Cleveland's always cursed. Jared Goff doesn't show me anything in Detroit. I know Detroit is on the up, but I think that Goff is just the benefit of all these pieces being around him. He
Okay.
better perform.
Right.
I wouldn't draft Goff. I wouldn't take that chance. To me, I would rather take Carr.
Golf is here's why, golf is very interesting for me this year. I feel like he can't fail. I feel like if he just gets the ball out of his hands, he has so many playmakers around him. I just feel like he's almost like a sleeper, in there at 10. It's like he can drop it off to Giggs. He has Williams. He has Amon St. Brown. I mean, Amon St. Brown was one of the best receivers in the league last year. Then he has who's his tight end? Who do they pick up at tight end? Oh my goodness, they Hawkinson left, and then
Hockenson went
I think
went
they
to the
picked up a
Cardinals, yeah.
rookie this year
Yeah.
for
They
Detroit. Like
did in the draft, they did. They
some
drafted the
six
kid
seven
from
guy or
Iowa.
something.
They drafted the kid from Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah, the 6'7" dude, big paws. You never know how he changes that offense around, and from a blocking aspect.
Yeah. Sam Laporta.
Watson too, man. I think Watson has weapons out there in Cleveland, and he's a sleeper. I think you know he has a full year under his belt where he knows he's going to play. There's no uncertainty, and yeah, man. I just think at some point Rodgers, like for whatever reason, I think they're on a crash course there in that with that New York media. It's very different from that very humble
Oh, yeah.
Wisconsin media, Green Bay media, where they're going to love you regardless. They love you to be there. They can't wait, you know. Green Bay Packers game is more about tradition than, and I'm not going to say then winning, but it's all part of it. They just, it's just such a unique situation out there in Green Bay. So
I
I
think
don't
you're
know.
right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that it's a risky one. I do trust Rodgers. I think in his first year, I think he'll do really well. I think the next year, he just like to me the last few years in Green Bay, he seemed like he was getting a little bit lazy. He would start off the season very slow, and then when the Green Bay was looking to get eliminated, he would all of a sudden catch fire. Remember the Eagles beat him, and I thought that was it. He was going to be benched, but then he almost got them into the playoffs, except for Detroit beating them right there at the end. And that was what Rodgers does. So I think he'll start off though this time in New York. I think he'll start off hot. I think maybe next year he'll be weak, but I mean it's up in the air. But anyway, real quick, look at these Saints schedule. You got
Yeah,
Tennessee, Carolina, a weak Green Bay, a Tom Brady-less Tampa Bay,
right.
New England, Houston, Jacksonville, Indy, Chicago. I mean, Justin Fields is great, but that team's not all the way back. Minnesota, okay. Atlanta, Detroit, Carolina, the Giants, the Rams, Tampa Bay, and Atlanta. That's the Saints schedule.
Wow,
I would kill for that schedule if I was an Eagles fan.
for
And
sure.
so you've got Carr, Olave, Kamara, Thomas. I just look at Carr as being all those guys. I would say with this schedule, I would be up on just about any Saint on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
Definitely Olave.
that's a great
If
point.
we're talking about those wide receivers early, if you can't get a Justin Jefferson right off the bat, or AJ Brown and those guys, then
But,
or Tyreek, then Olave should be up there.
but look at the amount. One of the biggest points. I think you made it, but look at the amount of like rookies or young players that they're playing against. So you go to Carolina, you got Bryce Young, right?
Yep,
You go
yep.
to Green Bay, who you have Lance?
Lance or is it
No,
Love?
who is Love? You have
Love,
Love.
Love.
I don't
Yeah.
even know who the quarterback, like you said, I know you said Baker, but I don't even know. It could be Flash,
We
it could
we
be
don't have for
Baker.
sure. Yeah, we don't have for sure. Yeah.
There is still uncertainty in New England with
Yep.
Mac
That can
Jones
be.
and
Yeah.
Zappy, right?
Yep.
Then you got CJ Stroud, yeah,
Yep.
right? Rookie.
Trevor,
You know,
is
Trevor, we
still
still don't know.
yep.
This jury's still out. He blew it. No, it was the other way around. He overcame a 27-point deficit in the playoffs, so that's a feather in his cap.
It is. Yeah.
I
He
don't
played
know if
well.
Herbert choked it or I don't know. You can go either way
Yep.
with that. Herbert, I will say this for blowing a 27-point lead, it sure didn't hurt him. He's the
I
highest
know.
paid quarterback in the NFL history. That's
Yeah.
what's no playoff wins in blowing a 27-point lead gets you in San Diego. Then you go to Indy, you have a rookie.
Yeah.
Again,
Richardson or
you have a
Minshew.
rookie or Minshew. Then
Yep.
you're in the is he in the second or
Nope.
third year in
I think
Chicago?
that's
Fields.
it.
Was Fields a rookie last year?
Thought he was.
Okay. Yeah, I
Could
thought
be
he was as well too.
thought he was.
And
Yeah.
then you got a Kirk Cousins. The
Yep.
jury's always out with Kirk.
Yeah.
Jury's always out with Kirk.
Always.
You can bust him up or he'll somehow bust you up. And then Atlanta, I don't even know who Riddler. It's his first year
Oh yeah.
starting,
Yep.
right? I mean, who is that guy, right? You got a Jared Goff. He could, like I said, he can either blow it up or he could really, really, really suck at times. But I think Detroit's going to make the playoffs this year.
They
Then
should.
boom, you go back into Carolina. Again, Bryce Young, rookie. Daniel Jones. Who knows if Daniel Jones is going to be even around by this time, this
Yeah.
year. They can have the ebb and flows in New York is incredible. They do have Darren Waller this year, but a pissed off Saquon Barkley. Then
Yep.
you have the Rams. Who knows what the Rams
Yep.
even going to be bringing? They may have traded away their full squad, like you said, with Aaron Donald at that point. It's just no telling. I think they go as Stafford goes. And then again, you finish out the season, Tampa, Atlanta. How can you not make the playoffs?
Yeah. The Saints are in a weak South. And they're primed for it. And Carr is leaving a bad situation in Las Vegas where he was like given up on before he even got a chance. They went out to give him Devontae Adams, and then it just was just horribly coached. It was just they had pieces and they just fizzled it away. The Raiders were just inept. All the blown leads that they had, the close games that they lost, and Carr's in a better situation now. I
Yeah.
guarantee you he's much happier down on Bourbon Street than he was on the Strip. I'll tell you that. And it is Fields' third year. He came into the league and played 12 games in 2021. So crazy. I thought he was, yeah, just it's crazy that it is his third year and he played 12 games in 2021.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it would
Good for the
almost
Eagles.
have to be
Yeah.
because you had Stroud last year. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I don't. But that wasn't Stroud's first year. That was Stroud. We
No,
know that was Stroud's at least second year as the
yeah, that was.
starter. So that kind of, I
Yep.
guess, if I just think Ohio State a little bit, it
Yep.
draws
Yep.
me right back to because he went to Ohio State as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fields. Yeah,
But
they've been putting him in. I don't know how
but
they
that's
played
cool.
once they got to the league, but they've definitely been putting him in.
But
They've
yeah,
always been putting him in.
and Fields isn't really on this top 10 list, and he really shouldn't be, but he's another one to consider. So, quarterback, unless you're going to take Mahomes or Hurts right off the bat, or even Allen, one of those top five,
Mhm.
and you're going to try to just grab one of those guys, there are still quarterbacks to be had
Right,
past the number 10 spot.
right.
Rodgers, Carr, and Justin Fields, just to name three. So, definitely like one of those things as far as value. Running back is probably should be a priority, like you said, and then wide receiver. And the wide receiver, I mean, there are tiers to those wide receivers out there.
Yeah. Speaking
There's
of wide receivers,
there we go.
we
Yeah,
have
there's
our
tiers.
you look at the 100% rostered. I mean, man, I can't wait. We're gonna get to the running backs next, and then we're gonna get into the draft. We're gonna not
All
do a
right.
nice
Sounds good.
draft just to see what the world is doing. But go ahead. Man. I mean, to
Yeah.
your point with the wide receivers, there they are. What you think about these, man?
Yeah, I think draft wise, who's going to be gone in that first round. You know that Hill and Jefferson. I'm not so sure about Diggs in the first round, only because of the whole turmoil and the attitude, the bad attitude thing.
What?
I mean, well, they've been talking about him pouting and not getting along with.
What?
Yeah, well, that's what got him out of Minnesota. So
What? What? He
I'm just saying,
Allen's life
I
on
love
the
him.
line. He's
I
not. He's going to Diggs.
I love him. I love him, but I would
Oh
probably
yeah.
take Jamar Chase over Diggs. I don't know, I'd probably take Diggs over CeeDee Lamb for sure.
Mm,
AJ, the thing about AJ, look at you got 2 Eagles on this list right up at the top. That's the hard part about taking AJ is because how many times did we watch those games last year and Devontae outshone AJ? AJ had like 4 really good games.
right.
He had multiple touchdowns and was dominant. But then other times he couldn't catch a ball over the slant with a slant route where he was dropping stuff.
Right.
But Devontae caught everything.
Right.
And I think the only reason Devontae didn't shine as bright as AJ was because he didn't have those big muscular catches. He had the acrobatic ones,
Yeah.
you know, spotting
Well,
the ball, but
one thing we have to add is Goddard.
yeah.
The offense still, Goddard is a big part of the offense as well, too. We have a triple threat, man.
Mhm.
Just putting Hurts to the side, like as far as Hurts options. And all last year, Goddard was just as if you look at some of those big third down throws, you'll see Jalen finding that spot between the safety and the corner and Goddard somewhere in between there.
Yep.
It's like you can tell they've practiced it 1,000 times because somehow they just keep getting between the safety and the corner on these crucial plays. So I think you got to shout out to Goddard and just look at the overall embarrassment of wealth that the Eagles have from a talent perspective. But it also plays into these players won't be on the list if they didn't have anybody to throw them the ball. So
Right.
it's all correlated.
Yeah.
I think both of them eclipsed 1,000 last year, right?
Yep.
So that's with having a stud. I think Goddard's top 3 hands down. I just think he's a stud, man. So I don't know, man. But from the wide receiver, I think when it comes to Diggs, I feel like you have to draft them this high because who else do they have to throw the ball to in Buffalo? So it becomes a numbers game.
Mhm.
Who else is going to get 10 catches a game in Buffalo? I know they drafted a stud tight end, but they already have Knox. And Knox was somewhat a part of the offense, but he may get, 4 or
Right.
5 catches a game, but he wasn't a big, big, big part of that offense.
Right.
It was Allen running and throwing. They have no run game and Diggs, and that's their offense.
Right.
That's why Allen led the league in interceptions last year because he really has nobody else to go to besides Stephon Diggs. So I think for volume purposes, I think that's probably why you see so many folks drafting him at 100% and
Mhm.
starting him at 99%. I know you see you take Jamar Chase over him. I think the Cincinnati situation is a little more congested because T. Higgins is a stud.
It's true.
You got Jamar Chase, and I forgot who the third guy was. I think he's gone now.
He was
Um,
wasn't it was Taylor his name? The speed guy.
I think he was like the captain. So you have
Yeah.
Higgins here. You look, you have two Cincinnati guys. One, two, right? You got Higgins down here. You have Jamar Chase here. Let me see here. Yeah, there's some tough guys down here, man. You got Lave, like you said, primed for a good season, especially if Michael Thomas comes back.
Yeah.
Thomas could be one of the biggest sleepers. We want to talk about sleepers. Remember how DeAndre Hopkins last year, nobody really paid attention because
He was
he
well, he
was
was
suspended. He was
yeah,
suspended for like the first 6 games, and
yeah,
then
I
in the
thought
back end of the
10
season, he started vulturing some
yeah,
points on the back end.
yeah,
You got Cooper Cup coming off a serious injury. How does he do? You know, in one of my other leagues, I have Cooper Cup, and I didn't know it was a keeper league,
yeah.
so I dropped him. And my boy picked him up immediately, the commissioner, and he was like, "Hey man, you know it was a keeper league." I was like, "No,
Oh,
I did
gee.
not know it was a keeper league, goofy."
Yeah,
That was in my NFL fantasy league. But anyway, so
yeah,
yeah, man, and we talked about Amon St. Brown earlier, right? Look at him.
yeah.
Look at him. Look at that. 100% roster. Obviously, it's not hard for that type of a wide receiver. But I'm just saying, man, you got any guys in this area.
Right.
That's big business, man. That's big business. Um,
The
Tyreek Hill, man, I mean Justin Jefferson. A lot of these guys speak for themselves, man. CD Lamb, Adams. Adams in Vegas is interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because when they get Jimmy Garoppolo down there in Vegas, I mean, who's
yes.
throwing
Yeah.
Adams the ball really?
Yeah. I don't know if I would trust Garoppolo as a fantasy quarterback, but you still got to expect Adams is gonna get his numbers. But I would be leery of that. I would get him if I mean for a value, but I wouldn't go out of my way to jump up there to get him.
Let me
When you
see.
look at guys like Amon Ra, that's what I'm really focusing on, just like everything else. Like we brought it up. Where those teams are where you have the embarrassment of riches, like Philadelphia. Yes, I want AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, but I'm gonna take maybe Amon Ra first because if you look at their depth chart, they got Jamison Williams coming back from a suspension. So there's ambiguity there. You don't know what's going to happen with that. And then when he does come back, how is he going to play? Then you got Marvin Jones as the other receiver. So Amon Rod's the guy there. Like you said, Laporta's going to he's the guy. So you know that he's going to get the most of the look. So maybe you take him over Devontae Smith, but not AJ Brown. I don't know. I'm going to look at the ones where I
Ooh.
know those numbers are going to be there.
Now I hear you there, man. I think Devontae is such a luxury. He's like a luxury receiver, man. He can just do it all, man,
Right?
without making a splash. He's a good teammate. All the Eagles, shout out. I mean, it is what it is. This is a biased broadcast, folks. We are biased towards the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't ever have to worry about that. At least I am. I'm gonna speak for myself, but I say this without fear of contradicting from Lee. We are Eagles biased podcast.
Yep.
Look, man, I think the whole team has done really well
Yes.
of just being just good teammates to each other. We know Barnett coming back. He probably, I understand Barnett's frustration. You look around that room and he's like, wow, I'm only 26 or so,
Yeah.
and I'm about to get run out to this building. I was just a Super Bowl hero, 5 years ago with the strip sack. No, Brandon Graham
That was
strapped
Brandon
it, but
Graham.
Barnett scooped it. He
Yeah.
recovered the fumble. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, my, how times change. But yeah, man, I can see his frustration, but overall, man, the Eagles players, they keep a real low key. They keep a lid on everything. You don't hear a whole lot getting out of camp. Moving forward to the
Oh, yeah.
third. Oh, this is Jalen's third season, fourth season, fourth
Yes.
season,
Third full as a starter.
third, fourth, but fourth season in the league, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So 25 with 4 seasons under his belt and a Super Bowl. I mean, he played, to the max, man. So these guys have really
Yeah.
they know what it looks like. They know what it feels like, you
So,
know.
but that's what makes it tough is that number one, the schedule is going to be a lot tougher this year. and then you've got the wealth of offensive riches where they're gonna be splitting those numbers.
Right.
So you may wanna look at those teams. Look at Justin Jefferson. I mean, you could talk about them having Hawkinson and Thielen, but really Jefferson's the guy, so you know that he's gonna get the most, so he's that safe pick. Same thing, even though you got Waddle in Miami, we know who the guy is in Miami that Tua is looking for, and it's Hill.
Right.
So, with the Eagles, Hurts doesn't really show a lot of favoritism. He really looks for the open guy. And if everything is to be believed, and our third wide receiver, Quez Watkins, is much improved this year because he got embarrassed last year, then
Mhm.
he could have 4 wideouts out there with Goddard, considering how he plays like a wideout. And then Swift has been catching balls out of the backfield. So
Right.
you've got a situation here where the Eagles are going to spread it around. So I think it'll be great, but fantasy wise, it may not be so great.
Right. Right. Right.
We'll see
Now,
how it goes. I would definitely take them, but there are others I might take over them only for those issues because I worry about the Eagles again. The schedule, will the numbers be as great and as well as the soap spreading the ball around way too much.
right, man.
What
So
what are we looking at here?
what we're looking at right here is a draft analysis. Basically, this is the temperature of the
Mm,
fantasy of the Yahoo Fantasy Football League. These are the trends. These are the draft analysis. These are what people are actually out here doing. So just read it off, man. You got Justin. It's really not a surprise list. Every year for a long time until he got up with Debo Samuels, Christian McCaffrey was the guaranteed number one pick. We know, especially with Thielen leaving Minnesota, that who else are you going to throw it to? You got Hawkinson, who came on last year, but
right, right,
Kirk Cousins is a wide receiver first type guy, and Justin Jefferson is that guy. He
right,
is that guy. So that's actually a lot of props for Justin Jefferson to usurp Christian McCaffrey like that. Sure, number one, and I only could think like the Debo Samuels and Kittles is the only reason why like you would even really even doubt that Christian McCaffrey would get all those touches. And you
right,
got Jamar after McCaffrey, you have Jamar Chase, Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup is going to be iffy, man. He's coming off a major injury, but again, I couldn't tell you another Rams wide receiver. So of course Cup's going to be up there. He's always a special talent, triple crown winner. Austin Eckler, pissed off Austin Eckler. Uh, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Bijan Robinson. I'm really, really, really surprised about this. Haven't taken not even an NFL snap. I wonder if people have remember Brees Hall last year?
oh yeah,
I know you remember. I'm not trying to,
yeah.
but
I had him until he got hurt.
I think Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall when I think about Bijan Robinson. I think
Right,
people are like, nope, I didn't pick Brees up. Getting Bijan Robinson. We have a quarterback that's unknown, so they probably can give the ball to the running back a lot.
Pacheco was another one. I think Pacheco, he's not up here near the top, but he's one that you got to look at. I think Bijan, there's a lot. I mean, because of course we wanted Bijan as Eagles. I'm not disappointed they didn't go. They got their defensive players that they did. I'm not at all. But if the Eagles could have gotten Bijan Robinson, I think that would have been a really big pick for them. As it worked out, they got DeAndre Swift, hopefully who stays healthy and things are okay. But I think a lot of out of camp that they're looking at Bijan is just really blowing people away. So I think that's really rumbled into his spot where a lot of people are expecting big things from him, like you mentioned, like Brees Hall. I think that you got to look at those three. There's three guys that were on my radar last year, and it was Brees Hall, Rashad White to Tampa Bay, and Pacheco. And they all three. It took a little bit longer for Pacheco and White to really turn into fantasy players,
Right.
but I think they'll be factors this year for sure. But yeah, you look at the list and like you said, there's no surprises. Saquon Barkley and Pollard down there as well. So like you said, we talked about it. Running back is still, we didn't even bring up Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
It's still like the where you got to go at least if you can.
While we're at it, I'm gonna bring up the running backs as well. Right.
There you go.
Ooh, no, let me see. Roster. There we go. See who people are actually picking up. So as you can see, this list looks similar
Mhm.
to the wide receivers list. About one, two, three, about 7 or 8 or so down. You know, priority, man. It's kind of like, probably depending on what league you're in as well, too. PPR league versus regular league. I'm sure all of that is mixed in. I'm just guessing. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, what do you do with Jonathan Taylor this year? I'm gonna actually bring it up. Share this.
Yeah, that's tough.
Share the news on Taylor. Let's see if it stays on the screen.
While you're doing that, I did wanna mention that, you talked about Jefferson not having any real competition with Thielen, leaving to go to Carolina. He does have Jalen Reagor to worry about that's gonna vulture all of his receptions. He's still
Oh,
on the
man.
Vikings, so we'll see if Reagor,
Oh man.
becomes the second coming of Justin Jefferson this year.
Oh man.
I had to mention it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't not. It was like the worst moment for me as an Eagles fan during a draft to see them do that and take Rager over Jefferson. But it's worked out, so it's okay. I'm wearing a
Uh,
Brown jersey when I could be wearing a Jefferson Eagles jersey, but
yeah.
it's okay.
Um,
Any
you
news
know,
on what does it say on his
so
in
this is what's coming out on Taylor.
yeah.
Expectations sky high, blah, blah, blah. Do that. It's on the fields, production suffered. They're not even sure. I'm talking about like,
Yeah, what's going on with his injury right now?
right. That's what I'm looking at too. Like, did I not pay the subscription so they won't give me the real? Okay, excuse absent on Tuesday. This is as of Tuesday of this week, right? Ankle. So it's really just ankle. He's on the pup list. I think with the contract situation, man, he makes it really iffy to
Yeah.
draft as well. Let me see.
Yeah, that's tough. And the fact that he's doing the contract thing, dude, ask anybody, ask Saquon, ask all these guys that aren't getting paid.
Right.
It has turned into this thing where it is a shame, and it'll probably result in some sort of labor negotiations down the line, but where teams are more than happy to draft a running back, milk the heck out of them for 3 to 4 years, and then say goodbye rather than pay them, and then draft the next one,
Right.
because the shelf life is just there. Nobody wants to pay that second contract, that pro contract for a running back anymore because of the injury rate. It's just not there, and
It
especially one that's already banged up.
right. It
It
just it shows the ebb and flows, man. Of you mentioned the draft not too long ago, where it was a bunch of running backs drafted.
yeah,
Now it's like stay away from them. I wonder. I mean, we'll see it all play out. I just think it's like they're just in a weird spot. I don't think it's like malicious or anything like
I don't
that. We'll,
either.
we'll see it all play out. I just
It's
yeah,
the same thing with, like, linebackers. It's the way the offenses change. It's the league has become more of a passing league. It's become more of a RPO league where you've got running quarterbacks that are able to throw downfield to strong athletic wide receivers that can make big plays. And so the days of the 3 yards in a cloud of dust or that running back, I think Derrick Henry is probably going to be the last great running back for a while that we see that's just between the tackles, bust you in the mouth type running back. Um, it's just too easy to find a guy you can just hand the ball to when you need to.
right,
And
right,
nobody's worried about that. I'm not saying that's the right attitude. I said last year when the Eagles had an opportunity to get Christian McCaffrey that they should have tried to make that deal because he's a difference maker. Players like that, like McCaffrey, and Nick Chubb and Derek, they're Eckler, everybody on that list, Josh Jacobs, workhorse. They're difference makers. So I
right.
believe that you got a guy like that, then he could put you over the top in regards to a Super Bowl. Look at the Eagles Super Bowl. I mean, we relied solely on Hurts getting the ball downfield to the receivers. Miles Sanders was pretty much non-existent. Now, granted, they had to run the ball to make him existent, and they didn't do much of that in the Super Bowl. But if we had a guy like McCaffrey or Jacobs, they were going to be running the ball more in that
For
Super
sure.
Bowl, and it would have made a difference. And I think hopefully Swift is that going to be that guy this year, who's not even on this list. Why? again, because he's in this really big platoon, and we don't really know who's gonna get the lion's share of carries from will it be the former Lion?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
No, man, looking at camp, it definitely looks like he is going to be up there with the big dogs. I think he's the starting running back. I think
yeah.
I think as long as he's healthy, he's the starting running back.
I
And
think that that's the worry,
mhm,
is will he be healthy? I hope so.
right, right, right.
All right, we're joining the next draft, and you're just gonna click on the whatever I tell you to
Yeah,
pick.
man. So I'm gonna put us in the next draft.
Okay.
You know,
All
whatever.
right, let's have some fun.
Yeah, man. Let's
Yeah,
see what's out here.
now, when is our draft set for
Our
our
draft is set
real
for
draft?
September 2nd.
Okay, good, good. I'll make sure I put that on my phone.
Yeah, our draft is set for September 2nd. Um, I guess at 6 Eastern. Don't quote me on that, but it's definitely on our
'Live draft, 6 o'clock. Yep, I already had it in my phone.
6 Eastern, right?
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah.
I already had it in my phone.
It's 4 my time. It's me always trying to do the math, like where
So
you're
hopefully
going,
we can get
where
some of
I'm
the
at.
other players in here like we did last year and have a fun time with it.
All right, man. So this is our mock draft. Uh,
Starts in 3, 2, 1. Where are we at
we're
here?
drafted fourth. Here we go.
Okay, all right,
Here goes
cool.
nothing.
It's now loading. Cool. That's funny. People do this for fun these days. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Just a play draft that doesn't even count. It's like playing a
yeah,
board game in the
yeah.
'70s, just you're just for fun, just to see who you can get.
It and it gives you an idea. You know how many people come into a draft and they have no clue
Oh, yeah.
that that somebody's not on the team no more. That Waller, somebody's gonna walk into this draft and not know Waller is on the Giants.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So
That's their only, like, their real big free agency move that worries me, but nothing really about them worries me. Daniel Jones is still trash in my opinion. He just is. He just is. And as long as they keep hanging on to him, cool.
yeah.
Cool.
So here we are, drafting fourth, as you can see our
Yeah,
name here,
not too bad. Not
fantasy.
good spot, bad spot. They got projected at Cooper Cup. That's okay.
So who do we take here with the fourth pick, man? Let's start brainstorming as if we
Well,
were in this draft.
I
What are your thoughts with the
if it
with the fourth pick? Regardless of what Yahoo says, who would you pick?
well, yeah, like, if we were talking or like we were saying about running back, we would bypass Cup and go with Eckler. Only for the standpoint of if those 3 guys go first, Jefferson, McCaffrey, Chase. Cup, we know that he's coming off the injury. We don't really know if Stafford's gonna be back to 100%. He's somebody you definitely would love to have, but Eckler, to me, is the one that you might wanna look at first if we're gonna talk about going running back first.
Okay,
Or Bijan, but Bijan we is unknown, so
if we want to go
or
running back
Chubb.
first, we'll 'cause we have 55 seconds until we start drafting. Here's
Okay,
what I'll do.
yeah.
Let's let's start.
Yeah,
Scroll.
where
Here we go. Okay. Not the rank. Oh
oh,
man,
it
let
is
me
all
go to
player
position.
first.
Here we
Oh,
go.
yeah, you got
So if we're looking at running backs,
so you got McCaffrey,
McCaffrey's
Penny,
probably
Gronk.
gone.
Yep.
Right.
So you're gonna have, yeah.
All right. So we'll look at that when the time comes so we can get our hopes up.
That's
But do
yeah.
we just take the best available running back here?
And is Eckler the best available?
Is Eckler the best available?
I
I think because his catching ability, I think he
yeah.
is, man. But I think with the uncertainty in Cleveland, if they're even going to bring back well, he's not even there anymore. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, the kid from Kansas, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about him anymore. I love Nick Chubb.
The draft has started. Who goes
I
off the
almost
board
with
first?
Deshaun Watson maybe having a better second year, I think Chubb may have a really good year too. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. Taylor, we know is a really big risk. Of course, there goes Justin Jefferson off the board,
Yeah,
and then McCaffrey.
and now us. All right, man. So I'm gonna put it on all players.
Yep.
You have 24 seconds. We have Cooper Cup. Man, do you go Tyreek Hill?
Oh,
Jonathan
Tyreek.
Taylor if he
Well, that's
plays?
the thing. You got to bypass that running back list if we go Hill first. Hill's definitely a value pick.
I think we have to go Hill here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Go for
We're
it.
going to draft Hill. The first pick for Fantasy Waiver Wire, Tyreek Hill.
We're definitely gonna have to look at running back in the second round for sure.
Okay.
Because now we're gonna see Eckler come off. Yep. Figured that one would be the next one. And then we'll see.
If you're
Let's
looking
see.
for the draft, you can
Yep, down there.
look
So
down
we'll
here.
see
And that will
if
you
somebody goes for Bijan or Chubb. I don't see somebody taking Cup or Taylor.
So you go
Oh,
running back, or if Kelsey's still there, do you grab
Oh, I
Kelsey?
definitely grabbed Kelsey, but he's not going to be there. There goes Cup. Somebody took a chance. Cup should play pretty well this year, so that's not too bad. Bijan Robinson over Taylor. So, and there goes Kelsey.
Kelsey
Knew he was
gone.
going to be gone. Look at everybody selling on Jonathan Taylor. Nobody wants to touch him right now.
But this is why we do the mock drafts. So you
Exactly.
don't go in and push all your chips. You may be able to get Taylor in the second round.
Hell yeah.
You just
Love
or
there
you
he
know
goes.
to avoid
Give
him and
off the
somebody
line.
drafts him first. But then there he goes.
There you go.
Still a
I
first
would have
round.
taken Chubb over Taylor there, but now he's going to be
I
gone.
agree.
He's
I
going to be
agree.
gone here.
We do have to pay attention. That's to Saquon Barkley and Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's the workhorse out there.
Yeah, there goes Chubb. Yeah, Tony Pollard is definitely
Take
somebody
pick
you can
Chubb.
get back. It's gonna. I think we're gonna lose out on Pollard and Henry. So we definitely have to look at if hopefully Josh Jacobs is there. But then you got to look at who else is available receiver wise because you don't want to maybe pass that up. There goes Pollard. Here goes Barkley's got to be next. Nope, Derrick Henry.
Henry.
Yeah, that's a good move. I would have taken Henry next, and then you got Brown. 2 picks. Do we get Barkley? Does somebody go for those receivers? You got Lamb and Adams right there, and then Amon-Ra, who's I think
Mhm.
I would lean a little bit more over to Amon-Ra. CeeDee Lamb.
Man, it's a lot of work out there. But I
What do
will
you
tell
think?
you, I'm
If
thinking,
Barkley's
I'm
available, we
thinking,
can take him.
if Barkley's available, I'm taking Barkley.
Oh, and he's gone.
Then if not, I'm taking Mahomes. Like this is where I just go ahead and get Mahomes. I feel like
Yeah.
if we don't get him, somebody will pick him.
All right. We don't have to
But
stay with it.
there's some other good choices out here. You have you
Yeah.
got Najee Harris. You
Yeah.
know, that's always a good pick.
Yeah.
Brees Hall. I'm all right. Do you want to get a wide receiver so we're good? Wide receiver one.
We got a wide receiver one, don't we? We picked up
Oh, Hill. We need a
yeah,
running back then.
yeah, we got Jacobs is probably
Who we
it.
getting? Who we getting?
Yep.
Oh no. We had all that time and we get auto drafted.
Got Devontae Adams.
Hey, if you're
right.
you see, this is what also happens in the league, man.
Yeah.
You just go down to the wire.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes is going to be off of there pretty soon. But just personally,
There it
see,
goes. Yeah, you
see,
gotta take
personally, this is where you get Mahomes. It's
yeah,
just me personally. If you're in the market for the top quarterback, you got to get Mahomes by the second round.
yeah, there goes
You know,
Amon-Ra. So now we've got 2 wide receivers. We've
so
really got to focus on that running back position.
100% because we can at this point.
And a lot of the really
Unless Allen is there, I think it's. What if Allen is there?
then you that's a tough one. Me personally, I'm gonna
We need running backs.
yeah. Dixon's gone. So
All
you
right.
really got Ramondre Stevenson. You got Brees
So
Hall.
Matt, got ETN,
Yeah.
right? You got Aaron Jones out there with the backfield by itself.
Jameer Gibbs is a sleeper.
So who you liking here?
Me personally, I like. I think the Ramondre Stevenson is expected to have a breakout year, but I like Jamari Gibbs. You got 9 seconds. Or
Like
Brees Hall.
Jamar Gibbs, we're
Yeah.
taking the flyer
Yep.
on Jamar
Get
Gibbs.
him
Let's do it.
because he's just
Only
yeah.
on. If you're in a PPR league, this is a good pickup for you.
Yeah.
I think when you watch any of the Detroit practices, he's definitely going to get the ball. Goff will dump the ball off as well too. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, there's a lot of good choices there. We had Travis
So
Etienne.
if you really want to hold off on the second running back and maybe get a Swift, you're probably going to be able to get him so that we can get either Allen or whatever quarterback you want, Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts as your quarterback, QB1. Somebody just got Allen, so and somebody just got hurt. Damn it.
Tough.
It is, man. Forget what well, Lamar is still out there. Lamar is still out there. So you got a real choice. Do you want to go with a low priority quarterback and get like
Let's see who's
one of
left.
these lower guys like Herbert or
So let's see who's left. We have
yeah.
Burrow, Jackson, Fields, and we have in 6 picks. So are we going QB
It really depends on
or running back? We got 5 picks.
well, I think well, look at running back again
I
real
think
quick.
we have running back up. Kenneth Walker is always good. I
Yeah.
think we go Najee Harris or Brees Hall or Najee Harris or Travis
I'm not
Etienne.
100%. I need to do the research on Brees's injury, but I would love Brees Hall again, especially in an Aaron Rodgers offense. They do love
Let's see.
the
Torrey
problem.
CL week 7.
Yep.
Ba, ba, ba. They just say how well he did last
Yeah,
year.
I think he'll be good. I think he'll be good. I think people are scared of that injury. And since this is a mock, it wouldn't hurt us. So
So you want to go Brees here?
I would be tempted if we're gonna go for that second running back now, or you wait and get Swift at a bargain or one of those guys.
So I'll star Brees.
Yeah.
I'll put him up to our top right corner as players that maybe we should do that. Maybe we should just start starring them.
Yeah.
And then as we start getting down, we can just pick from our pool of starred players.
Yeah, I think Brees is a good breakout guy.
Yeah.
If we want to go with the running back here,
I think
we're
we're
picking
some
running
guys
back.
available. So you want to go Brees here?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right.
Let's take the chance. It doesn't hurt us because we don't have to keep him.
Right. Let's go. Brees
Yeah.
Hall.
All right. So now we've got Hill and Adams, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Brees Hall. I like that. Now we may want to start looking at tight end position.
Okay.
Or quarterback. We'll look at quarterback first and then tight end because those go by quick. You got Andrews is a sure thing. Hawkinson, Kittle, Goddard. So you've got those Pitts too.
We'll just keep going. These guys are good. We just no telling what type. He should be healthy this year.
Evan Ingram's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't after Evan Ingram, I'm kind of eh. Njoku's okay. With Watson, Njoku might be good, but Dalton Schultz in Houston could be big. Yeah.
You never know.
Now look at the QBs because it's coming back quick.
You're right.
So we got to decide if we want to get a top. Lamar's still there.
Yeah, Lamar's
huge. And Herbert. I go Lamar or Herbert.
Lamar or Herbert, you're thinking, eh?
Well, what do you think?
I'm thinking here, man. I'm be honest with you, man. I think here you go Trevor Lawrence or Tua. But
really?
Yeah, man, I like Tua in this spot. But Lamar is probably gonna be hard to pick up ever again. So you get in here. Lamar Jackson, final answer. Yeah. This is a pretty good team so far.
I think so, yeah. I mean, we got auto drafted into Adams, but there's worse players to get auto drafted into. All right, so we're gonna look at our flex or our tight end.
Okay. So here's what I'll do.
We know tight end.
I'll put it on the flex.
Yep. Hawkinson's still out there. He's gonna get points, but I like Kittle. I think depending on what the quarterback situation is in San Francisco, that's the big thing.
Okay.
Because I like Kittle more than Hawkinson, but Purdy could play well. I know San Francisco's got something to prove.
So let's move Kittle to the top of
our or Goddard. Goddard's in there as well.
Okay. We'll go 1-2 Kittle, Goddard.
Yep. All right. Now, as far as other players in the flex area, you got J.K. Dobbins. He's expected to have a big year. I know he's on the pup right now.
I don't trust the Baltimore running backs. I'm honest. I'm just being honest with you. They haven't been able to complete a full season. Is J.K. Dobbins a good running back? Of course. Yeah, of course. But can he play a full season? So man, I'm not really sure.
Either look at tight end and then come back with flex because D-Hop might still be out there.
We'll still add him. We'll just rank him. We'll add him. So we got J.K. on. Yeah.
Yeah. Other running backs, I'm not a big fan of Madison. Only because they've got him in there because the problems with
2 picks in our turn. So we'll go with what we have listed here: Goddard or Hawkinson.
Yeah, because somebody got Kittle already, so it's either Goddard or Hawkinson. Get that tight end.
We have Goddard ranked higher.
Who do you feel, Goddard or Hawkinson? I'd go Hawkinson now that Kittle's gone, and then
let's look at some bye weeks and stuff. Let's make sure we're not.
I don't think.
Oh no, that's
Yeah,
on the side here. So
yeah, we got.
Hawkinson has the same bye week as Jackson and Adams. So I think you go Goddard
Yeah, let's
for
go
bye
Goddard.
week purposes.
Go Goddard.
You feel me? You see what I'm saying there?
I get you definitely because you don't have too many guys out.
Hey, Hawkinson went anyway. We didn't even have that choice. He
Oh,
went right before.
nice. All right, so now we got to
Yeah.
look at the flex, I guess.
So now we
Still
definitely in
looking at them.
flex territory.
Lockett's out there, Drake London.
Jerry Judy, because
Lockett
Cortland Sutton,
always tends to produce, though. You don't like
for sure,
Lockett?
for
No?
sure. We put him on there till he's always injured, as he is now. Let's bring him up. But
Well,
look, it
that
plays
way,
right to you. Lockett has
play it
been one
now.
of the most consistent performers in the
Yeah.
NFL for the last 4 years.
You
So,
got Montgomery at running back.
with 2 picks, what you want to do here?
Well, it all depends if we want another wide receiver or running back in that flex spot.
I think we go running back if we can.
I
What
like
about
I like
Pacheco?
I like Montgomery or Pacheco. Either one. I'll let you make the choice.
Even
Montgomery or Pacheco
Montgomery?
is either good with
Oh,
me.
that is a good. I think we get Montgomery. They're not going to throw the ball to him.
Yeah, that's true.
Pacheco, they might.
Yep, yep.
You like Pacheco? You got Dalvin Cook for a
He's
flyer.
got
So
some
you like
speed, man.
Pacheco better. We can always go Drake London or Tyler Lockett.
You
It's a
only got
flex.
11 seconds.
What you want to do? Lockett
I'll
or
let you make the
Montgomery?
call on this one. I would say
Okay.
that, yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go Montgomery.
Yep, 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 yep.
Oh no! Now we have 2 Detroit running backs. Why would we do that? No.
What?
Oh,
Montgomery? I thought Montgomery was in,
oh, he's in Detroit now. This is why we do mock drafts, people. This is why we do mock drafts. We have 2 Detroit running backs in our starting lineup. I would not advise it.
That was damn rookie mistake right there.
But this is why
I
you
thought
do. But
Montgomery
remember,
was
I
still
said
in
before.
Chicago.
What did I say? Starting it. Somebody's going to forget that somebody left the team. Right?
This is
So
what happens when you
now,
don't watch a lot of off-season
hey, Fantasy Waiver Wire did that now. So hopefully you won't have to go through that. So before you draft, make sure that it's, come on, man.
Yep.
Definitely over on our part. So cool. All right, man. So
All right, so Khalil Herbert is who I was thinking of. My
we
bad.
were going for
My
quality there, guys. We were going for
I was
quality.
looking at Herbert. Yeah, my bad.
Ooh, Christian Kirk is a sleeper out there in Jacksonville.
I still like Pacheco, as far as he's just a freaking speed demon, but
Let's
we'll
see
see
what
what
this Pacheco rookie season. What's up with this tag?
yeah, questionable, but
Okay.
or you can just take the best available. I mean, we got Lockett, you got Watson came on last year.
You see with his draft suggestions up here with Williams.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, he is a sleeper.
Because we're gonna end up dropping Montgomery anyway.
At least trading him.
Yeah.
Let's see. Samaji P. Ryan. Where's he? He's in Denver. What's healthy Williams like?
And you got Pittman.
Yeah. Ooh, Pittman is out there.
And you got Kurt
Lockett. Man, I think the unpopular choice is a running back here, but I think it is a good choice here. I just think running backs are hard to come by, man. I think wide receivers, you can pick any wide receiver. Sometimes they'll be
I don't see
roughly.
Swift on here. Did he get picked up already? I'm assuming since Penny's on there. I'm assuming he did, and we just missed it. Yeah. All right. So you're gonna take Javonte and then just drop Montgomery right now.
Let's see. Do we need wide receivers? I think we need some more wide receivers.
We've got 2. We've got
right, so let's get a wide receiver.
All right,
let's
go
tighten
for it.
it up. Let's get a wide receiver. Lockett's at the top of our list. Oh, Christian.
Yep. Kirk or Watson or Kirk.
I think I'm with you on Lockett. Even though Kirk, I really like Kirk.
Go for it. You got 5 seconds.
But Lockett can make some really, really good plays.
Harry V left, so he's no longer drafting. He figured it out what he wanted to do. He saw us take Montgomery and said, "These guys aren't serious. I'm out." Tony joined in his place, whatever that means.
Yeah. Like I said, man, but this is why you do the mock draft. This is why you come to the Fantasy Waiver Wire to do your mock draft, so you can see, type of crazy mistakes. But so far, I think we still have a really good team for a 10-man squad. I would be happy going in there with this because now we can kind of load up on those wide receivers. I feel like we got the running backs.
Yep. You're not gonna take a defense or a kicker first?
No, 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 no. Man. I think, but no. Hear me out. What's your reason behind? Where would you
I'm
want to take
just
a kicker at?
kidding.
We're
I
next.
I am I am kidding.
Hold on, we're next. So
I
you
think
got Pittman as a suggestion, Kirk, Christian, Watson, seconds, and then you got Mike Evans still out there. That's pretty disrespectful to not draft Mike
I
Evans
think
at
it's
this
because the
point.
quarterback situation, but
But yikes! I mean, he
yeah,
made Manziel look good
I think Kirk is gonna get a lot of the benefit
for
of
sure.
Lawrence as that second wide
You like
receivers.
Kirk next?
Kirk, yeah, Kirk or Pittman. Yeah, but yeah, I think Kirk's situation is better than Pittman's as far as quarterback. Now, wait,
My bad.
no, it's okay because the thing is that I'm counting on Richardson struggling as a rookie, but the dude has a strong arm, and Pittman could be the benefit of some big plays. So if this were a real draft, I would be mad that I didn't pick Pittman, thinking that. And it's good we did this because now I'm going to have that in the back of my mind.
Right.
Indy receivers could be a good boon with Richardson at quarterback because they're saying that they're seeing some launches in training camp right now that they've never seen in a Colts uniform for a very long time. So, yeah, somebody did pick up.
Kamara off the board, 82nd pick
Yeah,
in the draft.
I would
Mister
have taken him. Yeah,
Mister Alvin Kamara. I think you pick him up early. This is a lesson learned for me.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
you pick him up earlier
Got him ranked very
because
low. Yep,
because if you can afford to draft the same running back from the same team,
yep,
then you definitely could pick up Alvin Kamara at any time at that point. Because when he comes back, that's the missing piece as to whether the Saints have a good season or not, in my opinion.
yep.
It's
I agree.
that piece right there, man. Alvin Kamara. They're not going to have him out off the rip. Maybe that's why I didn't have Carr there. But anyway, predictions.
Yep.
All right, man. We're drafting in 6th pick. This
All
is
right.
round 10 of the draft.
How many spots we
Um,
got left? We got a defense, kicker, and then
Yep,
3 bench
kicker,
spots.
defense, and then 4
Only
bench
time
spots.
I draft a kicker is one there's one only kicker out there for me, and that's what's his name from Baltimore.
How do you not get Pickens in this point if he falls to us?
Yeah.
And with the 92nd pick,
He's gone down.
Pickens. Watson. There it is. You got Penny as the number one
Suggestion. But
suggested.
yeah,
Yeah,
he may not even play.
right. So this is why you got to do the drafts because they'll have you doing crazy stuff.
Yep.
Out of all
Well,
the
there's
players
Herbert right
available,
there. But isn't Herbert the starting running back in Chicago? Who am I
yes,
missing?
I believe he is. Khalil Herbert. Let's look at it. Did anybody go to Chicago? Then Herbert. They added Deontay Foreman, but I don't think he usurps him.
Yeah.
Who do we need? What are our needs here? We got 20 seconds.
Yeah, if you're gonna go bench, I mean, you're gonna go with dynamic players. Yeah, I see Herbert
Let's,
is the
let's go
RB1.
Traylon Burks from Tennessee.
I see Herbert is that's fine. I see Herbert as RB1. That's crazy.
Yeah, he
And
looks like it, doesn't he? Right? Look,
yeah,
164. Well, wait a minute. He's
that's what I've
projected
got on
to
the
be
website.
Chicago. Let's look at
You're not projected very high.
what's up with Herbert. Let's see. Herbert was used sparingly during the first 2 years. You get all that. Targeted.
So I guess because of Deontay Foreman, but that's just really weird to me. But whatever.
That would be really weird. I mean, he had a solid year last year with the Titans, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
crazy.
There goes Michael Thomas.
Hey, I think we get a backup tight end? That's too much
Just
for a kicker.
whatever
Yep.
you're feeling. But
Let's see.
what kicker?
All players. You got Antonio Gibson. You want to see a kicker?
Well, I don't think there's any worth taking, but you can look.
You got old buddy here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go tight end.
Go for it.
I think he's a special player when he's healthy. Just me personally, man. I don't think Watson's a big tight end guy, but when he's healthy, man, this guy is exceptional. But this is why you come and do mock drafts, man, just so you can get your eyes ready. So many
Right.
people go into their drafts and they're so surprised um the overall outcome. It's like, man, and you got people eating them up in the draft. I never forget when I drafted Justin Jefferson as a rookie,
Right.
and I had Patrick Mahomes. His first year, I drafted him like third round, which was still stupid because nobody was going to get him. I picked up his first year as a starter. I picked him up, and all the way to the championship, and I lost. But he ended up having his worst day ever, man. But nah, man, I just remember that. Just remember that Mahomes and Jefferson, just guys that I've gotten before their breakout. But I mean, that also explains why LSU was winning those champions. That they had 3 touchdowns in the first half. You just go, you got Burrow who had an incredible year, 60 touchdowns. But when you really look back on you, like Burrow threw to Justin Jefferson in college, that's a cheat code.
Mhm.
Because Jefferson never fell off. He came into the league, and if somebody told you right now that Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL, you wouldn't call them crazy.
Nope.
You may argue with them, but you wouldn't think they were beside themselves.
No, no, he's right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine that at LSU, hey?
I know. What a season they had that year too. That was crazy. You got 2 bench players, kicker and defense left. I think in this
There's
mock,
picks to
we don't
go.
really we
We
need
can put it on auto draft and see who they take for us.
it's gonna just take anything that's in here, but yeah, we could see.
Who's left? Let's see what some sleepers are. Do we need a backup quarterback? Is Anthony Richardson such a sleeper? You pick him up?
If you've got Lamar, you could pick him up and stash him on your bench. You never know.
I'm just, let me
I
go
think
ahead and star him.
yeah,
You get me. Like, I'm just thinking, like, he could come out and have an incredible year. We don't know. We
I would
don't
take him
know.
before I took Daniel Jones, that's for damn sure.
I didn't, I didn't really thought, I didn't think he played that well at Florida, the games that I watched.
They're
So,
raving over his arm and then getting into a really good pro offense might suit him. I mean, we won't know until they start playing games. Really, it's a crapshoot. So I like Nico Collins at Houston, but we don't know how Stroud's going to play. So
yeah, you got Smith, Najiba.
yeah,
I remember him at Ohio State. He was, he's like a possession receiver. He's kind of like a Chris Olave type. I
yep.
guess he went to Ohio State too. Jeez, they
Elijah
coach them all the
Mitchell.
same.
Elijah Mitchell is not a bad flyer from the standpoint of if anything happens to McCaffrey, Mitchell's going to
Mhm.
be there to
All right.
pick up the pieces. Then you got Zach Charbonnet in
So we have a kicker in the
Seattle.
defense that hasn't went yet. You want to look at the kicker in the defense?
Look at looks. Well, we got Miami's defense if we wanted it. All depends. You got our
Jets,
defense.
New
That's a
England.
good defense. New England, Denver, Baltimore. There's no bad defenses there. I mean,
We'll
Jets
go
are
New York with Sauce Gardner.
yep, that's fine.
Look at old Juju still out there.
I
That's good
know,
to
right?
know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Forgot he even went to New England. That troll.
Let's see. We got another pick coming up quick. What do we want to do? You want to go with Juju or
Want to
get
get Sanders?
yeah, sure, why not? Tucker's gone, so we know we're not getting him.
All right, we'll pick Sanders if he's available. Sanders.
All right. That just leaves 2 more.
Slots. Let's see what's available.
Yeah, just go back. What do we got as far as we got a lot of receivers. We need probably maybe
So on average, Anthony Richardson is going undrafted.
mm,
So is Aaron Rodgers. Look at this.
oh
Look
yeah,
at this. Look at
crazy.
this. This is why he didn't make my top
Yep.
10
Look
or
at golf.
the top 10 list.
Look
Look
at
at
golf.
golf. Unbelievable. I've been
I would
way
definitely
off.
I would lay off a Richardson and grab Rodgers in golf just in case Lamar has an injury or something.
Holy shit. So
That's
these are the quarterbacks left.
Gino.
Man, I'm
Derek
probably
Carr's still there too.
yeah, who Man.
So
Yeah,
if you don't get Mahomes or Allen or Lamar or one of those top 5 or Herbert,
Kyler
there's gonna be
Murray.
a wealth of riches
Yeah.
left. If this is gonna be like our draft, friggin'
Shit.
Geno, Richardson,
You
right.
could have you can have a lot of fortitude
Yep.
and draft like Aaron Rodgers last, like
Yeah.
whatever. Like right now, Aaron Rodgers to make this list, or you can go Derek
Or
Carr
or
or Jared Goff. You may be able to lay off
Yep.
of a quarterback. There's no telling what type of year Love's going to have. There's just no type. There's no telling what type of year Sam Howell's going to have. There's just no telling. Purdy, I think same old, probably dump off.
Yeah,
But
I
if
worried
Cup
about
plays well, then Stafford plays well. It's
Yeah. Your turn to draft.
back up.
Yeah, why not?
Let's just take a flyer on Richardson.
Oh, yeah, just for fun. I mean, like I said, it's
Just
not like
like
we're keeping.
whatever. You would probably get Aaron Rodgers here. I would advise to get Aaron Rodgers
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
but Richardson we go because we know he's going to be a big part of that offense.
Just look
Goal line stuff. They don't really need Richardson. They said he's is a pretty big dude,
right,
but we don't need Richardson. They don't need Richardson for goal line because they have Taylor, but they can use him.
right.
So we have one pick left, and here we go. Last pick of the draft with
Yep.
Fantasy Waiver Wire. First mock draft for 2023.
We've
We
only
don't go
got
quarterback, obviously. We go to all players. Who you like here? I'll let you pick the last one.
it's really
Adam
tough
Thielen in
because there's no
Carolina.
running backs that are
Holy
worth
shit.
taking.
Zeke, 5, 4, 3. I'm just going to go
Yeah,
Rashad Bateman
just got a
from
ton of
Baltimore.
wide
If he has
receivers. They're really we really what I learned from this is you really gotta try to get those running backs early if you can. Because,
it.
like we said, we said it before the draft, and then
Start the draft out with like, hey
yeah,
man, I know wide receivers are cool, but you have to get your
'cause
running
when I
back
look at our running
early.
backs, Jahmyr Gibbs is great, but and then, of course, we screwed up and got Montgomery, so let's pretend that's Khalil Herbert, but,
So this is our team. This is
yeah.
our draft.
Yeah, I like Jahmyr Gibbs. Breece Hall is hit or miss. So I'm like saying if we go running back heavy first, then we probably could have done a little bit better because we could get receivers. We may not as comparable to Hill, but we could probably get receivers comparable to Adams after we draft our 2 running backs. So just ignore the Montgomery pick. I think everything else is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kirk, Lockett, Burks as wide receiver backups. Those are fine. Richardson and Njoku again, just depth. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think all in all, it's still a pretty solid draft.
yeah, no, you got a decent team here. It all really depends on how Gibbs and Hall play because you know you're gonna get production out of Adams and Hill,
Right.
so
Right. You have Burks, you have with Hopkins being out there in Tennessee.
yep,
I wonder how that helps Traylon Burks in the second year out of Arkansas. Hopkins like player. AJ more of an AJ Brown type player. Hopkins is special. So more of an AJ Brown is special too, but Hopkins is like a freak. Like you know what I'm saying? Like one of those crazy athletes that you see every once in a while. But anyway,
yeah,
that Traylon Burks. And I think we'll see, man. I like the draft. It's a solid draft. Um, Look at the overall draft
I agree.
results. Do a little draft. Let's do the draft board. That would have been cool to keep
Oh,
that
yeah,
up there too.
that's funny.
Maybe we can keep that in mind when we do our league draft.
Yeah, yeah,
I can just keep this up here,
yeah,
and
that's
that's
cool.
probably a little easier to follow. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
then I guess when it's time for us to pick, we'll go players, and then
Well, I have my laptop up, so I'll be on you.
right.
I'm gonna cheat and have my laptop off to the side.
Yeah, I got my on right here.
Oh, there you go, there
I
you go.
mean,
Yeah, there you go. We'll be
I
good.
mean, yeah, man. The next game comes on too short. Oh, it's 7:20. Anyway, so yeah, man, this is our draft.
Yep,
This is
yep,
the first draft results. You know, if you want to see a little recap, see the wide receivers are in green, running backs are in red, quarterbacks are in this burnt orange or brown color, and you can see off the rip, man, it's just as much
right.
green as it is red in these first 2 rounds. You only see an anomaly is Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
Look at this. And
you,
Mahomes. Besides
you look at
Kelsey and
that.
Mahomes, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the look. Even if you go down the line, yeah, you
Yep.
get Allen and Hurts in there, but overall, they tell you it's a lot of green here and it's a lot of red here.
Yep.
So your wide receivers and your running backs are really important. You see one. You see how many wide receivers. So in our first round of this draft, 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers. 4 receivers drafted. Running
Yep.
backs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the one tight end. So when we spoke in the beginning of this pod, and we said, "Hey, get your running backs early." This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. I,
Really, if
and,
you
I-
you
and I
look
think
at the
Garrett
third
Wilson's a
round,
flyer. I'm sorry.
if you look at the third round after Ramondre Stevenson,
Mhm.
there's a big drop off to me in the quality of the running backs. Aaron Jones, I had him last year, and it's okay, but he's not going to win you a fantasy league. Najee Harris, same. He's solid, but he's not one of these guys in these first 3 rounds. Sanders, Brees Hall, and look how it just drops off. Etienne, Kenneth Walker's decent. I would probably put him above a lot of those guys in the 4th round. So, but it's like it just drops off. But then now look at the receivers. You got D Hop in the 6th round. You got McLaurin in the 5th round. You got
Mm,
Ayuk, who I consider better than Debo, in my opinion. Because I had Debo last year, and I don't know how many times Ayuk was the one that got targeted. Ayuk
yeah.
is the one that's always open. He's
Okay.
always the one making the catches. Forget I said that if you're going to draft Ayuk.
Hey,
But
that's
I'm saying Debo, they're both great receivers, but I had Debo last year, and I got sick of watching Ayuk get all the targets. So it's you can find wide receivers. Granted, you're not going to get Chase and Jefferson and Hill, but man, if you pass up on the running backs like we did, we got Gibbs, but then it's just okay after that.
yeah, yeah. Now this is a great. I actually like this, man. We're going to do our draft. We're going to definitely do it like this. We'll
Yeah,
switch back and forth, but I think when I mean, obviously we have to do two at the same time, but I'm gonna let you know how I'm gonna keep it. Whoever, whether you run it or I run it, however it go, we do know that it runs smooth,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
can do it.
yeah.
Um,
Well, with us both having the new systems, then yeah, this has worked out really well tonight for our dry
yeah,
run.
yeah,
I think that we haven't had any lags hardly at all. Sounds great.
yeah.
So I think this is going to be good.
Haven't buffered once, so
Yeah,
this is I love it, man.
yeah.
You know,
No,
and we're live too, so we're pushing it all ahead, and
we're ready for the
so
season. Now
I'm
now
ready
it's all about
for
setting
it.
it up for the real draft, getting some reports on some key prospects, and then letting it go, man.
Look at this,
I think
Odell
we're
Beckham last
yeah, that's tough
drafted.
though.
Kansas City. Aaron Rodgers. Look at that. So,
Yeah.
just look at these quarterbacks drafted last. But you're right, man.
And there was
Yeah,
still a lot to be had.
a lot to be had. You got to get your running backs early.
Yeah.
Like so two of my takeaways. You got to get your running backs and your wide receivers early.
Yep.
Quarterbacks, unless you love Patrick Mahomes, which I do, I you probably don't even need to look at it into the 3rd round. If you don't have your quarterback, if you don't have Mahomes,
Yeah.
Allen, or Hurts by the 3rd round, forget about it. Just keep drafting.
Yep.
Just draft, draft, draft. You can always get Lamar round 5, and Fields is a flyer to me, but you can get Lamar at 5. You can get Lawrence at 6. You can get 2 in round 7.
Yep.
You know, um,
Agreed.
you get me? Like you can get Dak in
E-
round 10.
e-
Dak still does well in fantasy at times.
Even if you go, wide receiver, running back, and then running back, or running back, wide receiver, running back, get your running back, your 2 running backs, your starters in the first 3 rounds, is my opinion.
Yeah,
Based on that's what I'm going to be trying to go for. Because as you can see by this mock, you're going to get half of each round is going to be running backs because they're at a premium. They just are, and you need them. You got two. That hasn't changed. It may have changed for the NFL, but it hasn't changed for fantasy. You
right.
need productive running backs in fantasy, especially ones that can catch out of the backfield. I mean, Swift did go. What is that? The 7th round, 8th pick of the 7th round. Oh, man.
Man,
So you can still get him. I have Swift high on my list. I think it's just the injury fears. So Kenneth Walker's another one, went in the 5th round. But outside of that, most of your really good ones are going to be up to the 3rd round. Then you're going to be struggling to find. I don't have any faith in Miles Sanders in Carolina. I like Miles, love him when he was with the Eagles. I
where did
just
Miles go?
Carolina. He went in
No,
the
no, no. I'm sorry. In the draft.
4th round, 5th pick of the 4th round, or right next to Olave,
Yeah,
the other way.
four,
Right here.
five, 4, 5.
There
Gotcha.
you go. Yep.
4, 5.
So
Oh, it's the snake. So I gotta follow the snake.
yeah,
There we go. Blah,
yeah,
blah,
follow
blah.
the snake. Yep. So I mean, all power to him.
Pause.
I love Miles. He didn't want to leave Philly. But I do think that he was really good in Philly's system. Gainwell showed that you could succeed in the system. We just needed to run the ball more, I thought, last year. Hopefully they do that this year with Swift. And if Penny plays at all, I wouldn't trust Penny right now. The rumors I have is that they don't even really know what to do with Penny right now because they've
What?
got it's just the thing when you look at that the Eagles running back room, they've got Swift and they really love Gainwell from what he did last year. Then you still got Boston Scott. And from everything I've heard, Sermon they're really high on. You can't keep 5 running backs on the active roster. So you signed Penny as a free agent, but they didn't know they were going to get Swift. And now they have Swift. So it leaves Penny as kind of the odd man out. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Huh.
see. I think Sermon will probably be deactivated, but they really like him. And if he performs well in preseason, I don't know.
And I
Could be
tell you
interesting.
what, man, Sermon, I always wonder why he couldn't really crack the top 3 last year.
Yeah.
Even though we had like even for the Super Bowl, I mean, this is a serious player. Trevor Sermon ran wild in a national championship game one year, I think before he got hurt or something like that. But no, I just thought that was weird that he couldn't really like usurp like Boston Scott.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like to
I
me, that
agree.
didn't make any sense. Or
They just
Miles.
never really gave him any time. They never gave him any snaps, and he kept showing up on the inactive roster, and it was just like, when are you gonna get it was like as frustrating as, like, Nakobe Dean not getting any playing time last year. When he
Still
got
one
on
of
the
the biggest
field
mysteries.
yeah, when he got on the field, he played well, but whenever the linebacker crew was healthy, he was absent. By the way, he's healthy now. They just said he returned to full practice. So they got Miles Jack. We got Bradley still and Reddick. So we're doing all right. And now with Cunningham. So the linebacker crew is not too bad. They're saying Reed Blankenship is solid at the safety spot. So we'll just have to see how things go, man. Anyway.
Nah, man, it's all I mean, like I said, we're Eagles fans. I told you, as you can see it in the background. It's always
Oh yeah. Yeah.
a whole lot of eagling going on.
There will be
But
some Eagles talk when we're not talking about fantasy,
for
but
sure.
that's
I mean, because at the end of the day, it's all still football. Are you getting the Sunday ticket
oh yeah. Yeah.
on YouTube? We canceled DirecTV.
Yeah.
We just straight up went to YouTube TV
Oh yeah.
already. We had it before when we first moved to Colorado. But
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I had DirecTV stream Sunday ticket because I was using my son's. Are you still there? Did you leave? I lost you. Am I the only one? Oh, there you
do
are.
not hit that button.
You disappeared.
Do not hit that.
Yeah.
I got this new mouse. I have the same mouse you have, and I hit this little. I'm not used to using the mouse, and I
Yeah.
hit that little back button right here.
Oh, yeah. It
And
took you out.
the back page button. So I got to keep my hand off that trigger finger
Yeah.
right
So
there. So yeah,
back to DirecTV. I got rid of DirecTV a few years ago because I was tired of their just the way they operated. Their service was bad. However, my son was in college and I could use his account, his university account to stream
uh-huh.
and get Sunday Ticket as an app. They have that deal. It was only like $120 a year and you
Yeah,
got it streaming. But yeah, there's other ways of getting it. I know people who get it with completely free, and I'm not going to say how they do it and who they are, and I thought about going that route, but I want I want really good coverage. I don't want it dropping off on me, and I
Yeah.
will pay the money for it. I've got my projector in the basement. I'll probably set it up on the 4 screens and, watch the Eagles every single weekend. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what YouTube I've had YouTube TV, for about a year now, and I I like I like it so far, so I think it's gonna be good.
Oh, okay. So you're already familiar with it. Yeah, man.
Had it for a little while, yeah.
I was a little shocked by the price. I was like, dang. But I guess when you take over for DirecTV, you try and get yours now.
I think
Um,
DirecTV was really expensive
for sure.
for the
Because the
full package.
service itself was expensive.
Yes, yes. So I think it's about the same price-wise. They had the early bird special that wasn't too bad for YouTube TV if you subscribe,
Yeah.
so it could be cheaper, but
You know, shout out to DirecTV. I haven't paid for any of it in the last 2 years. The first year we moved into the house, because it was under my name in Wellington, but now that we live down in the Springs, we did it under my wife's name. So it's like a new account. You know what I'm saying? So, but for the last 2 years, they haven't charged us for DirecTV since we've been here. So I never paid for it. Those past couple years I've watched it, they just renewed this automatically. So I thought that was crazy, man. So, but
yeah.
anyway,
Alright. Well, I
we
guess we're
just
gonna
made
watch
it.
get out of here and watch some football, regular
Yep.
football, or call it a night, but
Mhm.
I think it went well.
I think so too, man. Yeah, man. We'll get these subscribers up, get these views up, get it out there in the atmosphere, man, and see where it takes us, man.
Sounds good.
But with
Good
that
dry run.
said, man, yes, sir. We'd like to thank everybody for stopping by. The first Fantasy Waiver Wire podcast broadcast, first draft. If you made any mistakes with us, hopefully you don't make them on your own podcast. Oh, I'm sorry, draft rather. It's getting late. But yeah, man, appreciate everybody stopping by. Hopefully you go on this journey with us through our fantasy football season. With your boy Tubby and my boy Lee. And yeah, man, you got any closing comments, Lee?
Hey, let the season's just 3 weeks away, so let's roll. Let's get going. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Me too, man. And with that said, man, we'll catch y'all on the next broadcast. Um, look for us on Facebook coming soon. See us on Twitch and on YouTube now. Fantasy Waiver Wire. On Twitch is Fantasy Waiver Wire 23. Check us out on there. And come by, man. You know, we're just like you. We like fantasy football, and it stretches us out. So we figure we come on here and stress with y'all. That said, man, thanks for stopping by. We are out.
Take it easy.